let's talk about this word illegal. Let's just talk about it, right? Because some of y'all act like the law is your Bible, but forget it once freed slaves and criminalized their escape in the same breath. So let's just talk about it. Let's just run through this word. The way you spit it like a curse, as if it explains everything, as if it ends debate, as if it's not literally the oldest lie America has ever told, that you're not wrong because of who you are, but because of where we put your name in our filing system. How many times you heard that? So now you sit here and confuse law with truth. You confuse border with belonging. You confuse paperwork with personhood. So let me rebuke this clearly. The word illegal is a weaponized word. It was made to make you forget that the native never signed off on the fences, that the black was smuggled in as property, not passengers, that the Chinese built the railroads and then got a ban in return, that the Mexicans became foreign on the land that used to be theirs. So miss me with the sanctimony. Miss me with all that shit. All that shit. Your legal system is not holy. It is a bruised tool held by trembling hands, and sometimes it signs chains in the contracts and tears in the policy. The illegality you defend is just convenience with bad PR. You don't hate the undocumented, you like your fruit cheap. That's all it is. You like your buildings tall, you like your coworkers invisible, you like your lawns cut and your meat packed and your economy moving. And you don't want to look at the hands who hold it up. So you criminalize them and then blame them for their own bruises and then call the bruise the proof that they never belong. That sounds mighty familiar to me. I don't know. Because when they protest, you say they're disrupting, but that's the point. They're not here to beg. They're not here to whisper. They're here to interrupt your fiction. They interrupt the fiction. Right? Because the story this country tells is that we are a nation of laws, but the truth is that we are a nation of loopholes for the powerful and cages for the desperate. So when the undocumented shut down the freeway, they're not blocking traffic, they're exposing it. That's all it is. They're showing you what happens when the invisible refuses to stay invisible. So to say they're illegal so they deserve it is to confess your own spiritual laziness. It is to say that justice stops at the border, that humanity expires without papers, that the law, no matter how cruel, deserves your loyalty more than the truth. Because if Rosa Parks had followed the law, she'd have stood up. If Frederick Douglass had followed the law, he'd be on a plantation. Come on. If Christ had followed the law, he would have never flipped the tables. So let them flip tables. Let them disrupt your calm. Let them make you uncomfortable, because legality is not your God, and it damn sure ain't your excuse.